Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela and I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady. I'd like to welcome everybody back, all you old subscribers and all my newbies. I hope you like what I've got lined up for you today. It's not a great deal, to be honest. I haven't got any completed whips as I've attempted crochet this week, but it's just thrown everything back. And if you're wondering what this pink thing is, it's a heat pad. I'm giving something else to try in the hopes that I'm going to be able to crochet this evening. So what have I been up to this week? Right, as some of you would have seen Whips and Bits 24, where I said I've pulled a muscle or done something, so my right arm is not playing. It is still not playing. It is still being a pain in the arm. Instead of crocheting at the beginning of the week, I thought, right, I've dilly-dallied enough. I'm going to start writing up the patterns and putting together PDF files so that I can actually start selling some of them on. So if any of you prefer not to follow a tutorial or would rather have it written down by the side of you so you can tick mark it off, you'll be able to grab a copy. So I thought, right, okay, which one's best to start with? So I've actually started with the Cupcake Blanket. And oh my word, I hate typing. I hate writing as well. As some of you probably notice in my comments, some of you get loads and some of you will get just a little bit. But so I've been sitting up at my dining table, typing away, typing more, and still typing. I think I'm at the point now where, fingers crossed, and that one's nearly finished. It just needs photos, which means I need to crochet again. So of course, because I can't crochet, I can't take the photos yet. But it now means that I can then move on to the next one. So that's pretty much been it for me, is just typing one-handed with my left hand, which is really weird because I'm right-handed. So the letters, I was typing them what I thought was backwards, which is my normal dyslexic brain, and it turns out they're reading correctly, so that's an added bonus. But I have had a little company whilst I've been doing this. I've had Liam laying on my feet under the table and pipsqueak sitting like this. I'll pop a picture up so you can have a nose. Now pipsqueak really hasn't been impressed with her new seating arrangements because this green blanket is normally laying on that table and that's where she prefers to be, on the blanket. So she's sort of been giving me evils upon evils, but I'm not giving in. She's not having the blanket back until I start filming. Right, so I think it was probably Monday this week, hubby could see I was getting really fidgety because, of course, I'm not sitting in the evenings crocheting and I needed to find something to do. And he knew I had the stuff to make stitch markers, and normally I use a pair of tweezers and I sit there and swear at it quite a lot where it bounces here, there and everywhere. So he actually picked up these for me. Right, he ordered them because we're quite lucky. We've got was it Prime or something, so he can get next day delivery for next to nothing or nothing. So he done a bit of a search, worked out which ones would be best for me and ordered them in. So after about an hour and a half of swearing and cursing some more until I worked out the best way to hold it and things like that, but once I'd done that, I started making up stitch markers. The only thing is now I've got about 50 of the things sitting to one side waiting for new homes, which is pretty good because it means then that I know I've got enough so that when I run little competitions and things I can put them in sort of in with the card or something like I've done previously. So I'm hoping to get other ones up for sale at some point, but again I've got to try and work out shop and work out how to do all that. But I've got a little angel that's going to be sitting on my shoulder in a couple of weeks time hopefully, and she's going to help talk me through how to set everything up, which is an absolute dream. You know who you are, honey. So the stitch markers themselves are there's two different sizes. of clasp, and I've paired them up with 2 different sizes of chains. So in the photograph they pretty much look identical, but one is bigger than the other. Now onto the best bit of today's news, and the bit that's actually kept me going all week. It's your photos. So up first is a photograph of, now who do I pick first? Because yes, I have 2. Right, so I'm going to go with Kaz, our Aussie yarnaholic. Now she has made the unicorn C2C blanket. Here's a picture. Now this is her very first corner to corner with any sort of colour changing in. It might even actually be her very first corner to corner. Sorry honey, I can't quite remember. All I remember is how super proud I am of you, because I know how difficult this was for me when I first made it, and I'd already done a colour change blanket with a blocked heart in the middle, and so I know how difficult this one was. So I am so proud, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And the little change that you've made with the colour change with the horn and the feet is so cool. It just gives him, or her, because you haven't named him, or her, just gives it a complete different personality to the rest. And I think this one sort of would suit a bedroom for maybe a teen girl, because it's a little bit quirky, in a nice way. And I know that my daughter, when she was going through an emo or Nemo phase, whatever they call it, when she was going through the phase, she would have had that hanging on her wall like a shot. Right, and my next photo up is from Colours of the Outback Crochet. Now I'm actually going to be popping a link to a video that she has recently created up here and down in the description box. Now our colours, I'm going to call you that for now honey, our colours has been creating Poppies. Now she is actually donating 100 poppies for Remembrance Sunday over in Australia. Now 50 of them are going to be going to the RSLWA and some are going to the Navy Club. They are local, they are branches in Australia that help out with service personnel, which is really beautiful. Now she only came across my channel a couple of weeks ago, and she had been creating Bag of Days poppy to start with, and then she's swapped the pattern around a little to create a pattern of her own. Now her pattern is a lot more floral, and I believe it's more desired in Australia, that one, because it's widely known, or at least the symbol is anyway. So she'd started making those, and then she came across my channel and my poppy tutorial, so she decided to have a go at my poppy tutorial as well, to see if there was really any time difference or yarnage difference and things like that. Now I was also planning to make one of her poppies to show you during this video, but due to the issue with crocheting, I've only managed to make one of my normal poppies. So I haven't actually got to it yet, darling, but when I do, I'm actually going to use one of the poppy kits I've already pre-packaged to see what the yarnage difference is, and see if it then gives people the opportunity, when I send out a poppy kit, for them to either make my pattern or your pattern. But here is a photograph that she'd sent me, and as I said, the link is going to be down below, so you can have a nose at her channel. video roundup for this week. The only one I actually managed to get out was Happy Mail from Sabrina. I will also pop a link up the top for that one and down below, just in case that's just in case you missed it. Thank you again, Sabrina. The items are lovely, and I would have used some of the yarn by now if I had found the right pattern. So I'm going to start hunting soon, but not quite yet because I'm getting grumpy looking at patterns and not being able to make them. Ugh. Right, little news on the puppy. Well, he's not quite puppy, is he? Well, we had to take Liam to the vet earlier on in the week. Nothing really major. He keeps getting a red belly on and off, and it looks quite sore. So we took him into the vet, and it happens to be a new one because our favouriteest vet of all time has been bought out by another vet company. So we had to drop him off at this vet that he doesn't know, hand him over. They took him in, they examined him, they treated him, and then they brought him back out to my husband. Now, that's not normally a problem, but Liam suffers with separation anxiety and can get very grumpy if people prod and poke him when there's nobody there to give him 100% fussing. So I was a little bit dubious. So because of this, that's why hubby took him in. He came out tail wagging, happy as anything, and had actually been perfect. So that's a good sign as far as I'm concerned with vets. Now, when they spoke to hubby, they said they think he's got an allergic reaction to something in his food or his surrounding. So we're going to have to put him on Piriton, which is like an anti-allergy drug, because that actually works out cheaper buying that than what it would buying their brand that they supply in the vet. Now, it was the vet that actually has told us it actually works out cheaper just going to Tesco's, Morrison's or somewhere like that and just picking it up off the shelf. So we've also stripped back his food so that he is on corn and grain free. Now, the only problem is when you swap Liam's food, he starts how can I put it, trumping is what we would normally call it, or popping off or releasing of gases. So he's been doing that. Like we swapped his food 2 nights ago. So the first night he's laying in the lounge chilling out while I'm sitting there making stitch markers, and he starts popping, and we are talking every 2 to 3 minutes. The air starts turning green. I'm coughing. I've picked up one of my face masks and I've shoved that on. Even the trick of Vicks under the nose that I used to use when I worked in a care home, it was breaking through that. I had a stinky candle that I'd been given for Christmas that I never believed I would burn, because you could smell it through the packaging, you could smell it through a cupboard, and it reeked. That got put on. That was stuck on the little table right by the side of me. I could not smell it. My husband, on the other hand, said the candle stank, so it did its job, but he couldn't smell the popping off until Liam went in his room and he laid under the bed and he popped off, and he turned the air there blue as well, or green, because basically hubby came out going, that dog stinks. So of course he was taken for a walk and left a present that got picked up. He came back in, and about 20 minutes later on goes the sound, and you're like, oh, here we go again. So finally you settled down. He went back outside, sort of had a wander, dropped another bomb, came in and then settled down. Now, we've also gave him some like a charcoal treat, because they're meant to settle the stomach as well. Don't know how long it takes, but he finally calmed down about 4 hours after he had the charcoal treat. So maybe that food's not so good, but we have to keep him on it for a week. So last night he's laying there and he's making that sound again. He just doesn't he's not too worried really. It doesn't seem to affect him. He's not in any discomfort with his tummy. It's just we're in discomfort with our noses. Oh dear, it's bad. But it was that bad that he got banned from coming upstairs last night and the night before the gate got shut, because I really didn't want to wake up to one of us being gassed in our sleep. Right, I am going to head off now and think of something to do. So I will see you all really soon. Please, if you can, stay in and definitely stay safe. Ta-ra for now. Tonight at 9 on Sky Prime. Wonder what you're dreaming of. Are you awake? Or are you asleep, mister? You're awake, okay. Right, I need cheering up. So I am going to run a competition. It's going to run until Friday this week. It is just going to be for the winner can choose one of my PDF patterns. I may not have typed them all up yet, but as soon as they're typed up, you can choose from any of the patterns that are on the channel, or no, actually you can choose one of the patterns on the channel or the new mystery pattern, which will be the next one out. I haven't actually made it yet, so it would also mean that you could, in theory, if you wanted to, be a mystery tester for me. Yeah, that sounds cool. Right, so to enter that one, I just want you to pop in your comment the word somewhere in your comment the word mystery. This is so that I know that you've watched to the end and that you're obeying the rules. I will head off now. Ta-ra!